So good morning, everyone. I think that now we can start our webinar. I'm very happy that finally we could make it. Today's webinar will be focused on career guidance and counseling. It's another one in a set of sharing sessions focused on elements that are contributing to preparations for the youth guarantee. We are having those knowledge sharing sessions, training sessions for our colleagues from Ukraine, interagency working group on youth guarantee in Ukraine. And we are trying to help them together with colleagues from the European Commission, DG Employment, and colleagues from ILO, colleagues from EU for Youth program to support those preparatory steps towards the youth guarantee in Ukraine. So warm welcome to everyone. Today is a very special session that was actually already planned in March. Together with some colleagues from the interagency working groups, we were hosted by colleagues from INAP in Italy, in Rome, and one session that was promised could not be delivered because of the lack of time. And since then, we thought that it would be very good that we still have this opportunity to share our experiences from different perspectives, in particular what is happening in Italy and what is happening in Ukraine, where we have preparatory steps also for the new concept of career guidance. But just before we start the real exchange, let me just focus on some technicalities. As usual, our session will last around 3 hours. We will divide this session into 3 parts. We are also beyond colleagues from Ukraine and Mrs. Ancora, who agreed to share the experience from Italy. We will also have with us colleagues from Euroguidance Network who join us in a bit of a last moment, but we are very grateful also for having them with us. And we will have the third part of the session, but we will focus on the Euroguidance Network. There is an interpretation. We have today interpretation Italian, English, and Ukrainian. You can find on the bottom of your screen the globe with interpretation, and you can choose your interpretation channel. The meeting will also be recorded as usual for those that cannot join the meeting today. So we have the recording for our further sharing and for those that can still listen and can still learn from the experiences that will be shared today. As I said, the agenda will flow for the 3 hours. I wanted just to give some few elements of introduction, why we are here, I explained. We will focus today on career guidance and counseling. It's another one of the knowledge sharing sessions. If we can go a bit further, we are doing those preparatory steps towards youth guarantee. We've just wanted to recap a little bit the concept. It's already like some time that we haven't seen each other. And maybe for some that are joining us for the first time, we are talking about the youth guarantee as an initiative of timely and quality offers for young people under the age of 30. And it's about proposing all young people below 30 an offer of employment, apprenticeship, traineeship, and continued education. It's a commitment normally from government, but also from social partners and the civil society to deliver such a quality offer within, as it is set by the recommendation, 4 months since a young person is leaving the education or training or is starting looking for employment. Generally, such an initiative is focused on young people who are not in employment, education, or training. But what is important is that the offer that is proposed is of a good quality, and also it sticks to a decent work criteria. If we can go to the next slide, just not to expand much. We've been discussing about the youth guarantee, about the design and deployment of a youth guarantee, and we looked at from the prism of key concepts and principles. So the youth guarantee is universal for all young people under 30 years of age. It's a quality offer, as just said. We need to look at the policy integration and coherence. And here we are talking about employment policy, education, social protection, youth policy. And what is very important is that the youth guarantee needs to focus on continuous monitoring. So good data collection, we had a special exchange on monitoring system and setting up monitoring system, but then also management of data and adjustments of the monitoring system, and then as well of the offers is very important. Youth guarantee is delivered in partnerships. We are talking about partnerships between public sector, private sector, as I said, also non-governmental, in particular youth organizations and civil society as a whole. And we are talking also about service delivery system, meaning that the offers are coordinated and well resourced and well managed. If we can move further, just very quickly. And here we are talking about school to work transition in principle. So what are the key implications there? We already discussed the quality education and training. We also discussed work-based learning. We also touched upon a bit of career guidance and counseling that will be the key topic of our today's sessions, but we also discussed how to provide good quality offers through labor market policy, services, measures, and what kind of support can be given to young people. We also looked at labor legislation and taxation that is in this case important, but also at working conditions and mitigating informality in the whole spectrum of youth guarantee delivery. What are the key factors that are influencing young people transition from school to work? Very often is a socio-demographic and economic context, also level and field of study, but of course, as we can also see family and community ties and networks that young people have that are very important to look at in the preparation of the youth guarantee package. And just to recap on our knowledge sharing program, we started on 8th of November together with colleagues from the European Commission, DG Employment, and colleagues from ILO when we had the first introductory session. And then we went through different elements of the youth guarantee that we were seeing as a key for the preparation in possible youth guarantee initiative in Ukraine. And today we will have a special session, as I said, sharing experience of Italy, but also from the perspective of Euroguidance. And today we have colleagues from Austria and from Malta, but we also have Euroguidance from Ukraine, and this is why this exchange between Italy, Ukraine, and different international experiences is so interesting today. With no further extension of this introduction, I would like to check whether the Ministry of Youth and Sport, that is a co-host of this event today, would like to take the floor before we enter into the first session. Natalia?
Доброго дня, шановні колеги. Вітаю.
Good day, dear colleagues. Congratulations with today's session because it's unbelievable session for us. At today's webinar, we joined quite representation of educational institutions, the one dealing with vocational education and youth preparation for the adult life. And today's webinar is very interesting for us. We would like to get as much practical experience as possible. And first of all, we would like to express our gratitude to European Training Foundation, European Commission, everyone involved. And first of all, that's practical experience for us. We are beyond grateful for that. And I do not want to waste more of your time because we are really interested what follows next. Probably we will have some questions later. Thank you very much for organizing today's session, and let's keep on working. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Natalia. I'm also very happy to see Daria Andriunina with us, Ministry of Economy, who is a co-chair of the working group for the youth guarantee in Ukraine. Maybe we can also profit of the presence of Daria if you wish to give some introductory remarks. Thank you very much for being with us.
Yes, of course. Dear colleagues, I'm very grateful for this opportunity today, and I'm very happy that our cooperation is continuous and sustainable. And we're very grateful for this opportunity to study best practices and to understand how to implement youth guarantee in practice. And actually, from our visit to Rome, we have very good progress in the context of development of the employment strategy. And we will be very grateful if you will join us online on our working groups that takes place every week. And soon we will develop the part dedicated to youth, and we are confident that we will have youth guarantee on it. But we will understand that not only strategy is important, but also operational plan. And in this operational plan, it's very important for us to understand which practical steps we need to include to make it to make things works. So I want to wish all of us productive work today. Unfortunately, I will not be able to be all time, but my colleagues from department will be here, and I count on their inputs and also questions. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Daria. Definitely, there will be a lot of opportunities for exchange and for questions, especially that today we have a really distinguished and very knowledgeable speakers. But maybe just before I give the floor to Mrs. Ancora, a little explanation about the session that we are having today. I'm very happy that we have such a high participation. So this is very, very special session. Also, as I said, the session was agreed already in March. For also colleagues, maybe to brief about the background within the training sessions. As I shared, we had a great opportunity to host delegation from Ukraine, members of interagency working group on youth guarantee here in Italy. As you know, European Training Foundation is based in Turin, but we also had opportunity to visit Rome, and we had opportunity to discuss with the authorities of Italy. And one of the prominent discussions we had with Institute for Public Policy Research, INAP, which shared colleagues from INAP shared with us a number of aspects and also their evaluation of the implementation of the youth guarantee. So we could learn how the youth guarantee was implemented in Italy, what was the added value of the youth guarantee for young people for their school to work transition. We also looked at the perspective of work-based learning, which is part of the youth guarantee as such. And today we will focus on career guidance, the element that we had no chance to discuss. With this, I would invite Mrs. Anna Ancora from INAP. Again, we are very, very happy for time of Mrs. Ancora. It has been very difficult to find a suitable moment for the interagency working group, and also for Mrs. Ancora, who is very busy person and very busy with the research that the Institute is conducting. And now actually we are looking even more and more at the research, and we are learning about also methodological tools that the Institute is developing. And actually now we are also planning to have an enhanced cooperation, which I'm very happy. But with this, I will give the floor to Mrs. Ancora to share the experience of Italy, after which we will have some time for questions and comments from the interagency working group and other partners that are joining us today. Thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Grazie, grazie a tutti voi. Io sono onorata e felice di portare il nostro contributo, insomma, su questo tema molto, molto attuale, molto caro, che è l'orientamento. Quindi vi ringrazio, sono veramente emozionata per per questo confronto. E vado con la condivisione, vero Ivone?
Ring.
La vedete?
Can you see that? Can you see the
Sì.
presentation?
Sì, però non ancora nel modo
Yes, we can see
presentazione.
that, but it's not in presentation mode. Now we should have it.
Yes, perfetto.
Okay, great. So, my speech today during this session will be based on the topic of guidance. So, starting from the theory framework of reference. So I will just provide you with a general overview of the theory framework and the concept definition on which our guidance strategy is based, and then we will show you also some practical implementation of this guidance in Italy. So let's start directly. If I need to go slower, you can tell me. You can stop me whenever you want. So, the definition of guidance. Guidance is a fundamental process in an individual's life as it assists individuals in making educational and professional decisions of their life. So it's a process of constructing a pathway that should consider the different aspirations of people as well as the different contextual factors. So, for example, economic factors and work opportunity within the labor market. So it is defined as a set of activities aimed at supporting individuals and people in general of all ages, so in all the different steps of their life, especially in those of transition, so going from school to work, so which is a really delicate step of life. So providing different tools and strategies aimed at making informed decisions. So this definition took inspiration from the definition of the International Association for Educational and Vocational Guidance, which defines guidance as follows. So guidance is the strategy which encompasses all activities and services aimed at assisting individuals of any age in making informed decisions and in managing their educational training and professional paths. So as we can see, this definition highlights three main aspects of guidance. First of all, it is a dynamic and continuous process that accompanies the individual through the different steps of life. So not only during school years, but also in adulthood, because we can have different events, different situations due to which the individual needs to have new guidance throughout his paths. Second aspect, it involves various areas, so from education to vocational training, and also extends to the transition into the workforce. The third aspect is that it has a strong element of personalization, so it is based on the different personal aspirations and life aspirations of individuals. So it is built based on individual characteristics, but also on the opportunities offered by the socioeconomic context. So guidance is like a bridge between these two different situations. So this idea of guidance had a theoretical development that went through different steps. So, and now I will mention the main steps. During the first year of 20th century, guidance was considered according to the traits and factor theory. So it was based on idea that the professional path depends on the aligning of individuals' characteristics and socioeconomic contexts. Always more, the idea of guidance now starts to focus on the individual's characteristics being in a social context. So at the beginning of the 50s, we introduced the idea of professional development as a process that goes through different steps of the life of people. So we went towards a more dynamic approach. Then we started also considering the influence of environmental aspects and the approach by Kumbox, which highlights the importance of individual experiences in determining the different choices of people. As to get to the constructivist and life design approach of recent years, which proposes a vision of guidance as a narrative building and construction of people. That's the right slide, sorry. So a narration of the professional identity which adapts to the changes of the workforce and the context of reference. So that's a bit the story, the history of the main steps that brought us to this idea of guidance, which is person-centered, which works in the labor market. So what are the main objectives of guidance? First of all, facilitating the process of self-construction. This is a person-centered approach. We also need to help individuals in developing skills, so highlighting and understanding their skills and competencies. This is not a process that we should take for granted. So guidance has the aim of developing these skills and also developing the soft skills which are necessary for the construction of the individual life project. So these are the main objectives on which guidance is based. But what happens in the practice? So how do we really go from theory to operational practice of these objectives? So what are the actions to be implemented? First of all, in Italy, we can say that guidance is implemented by different institutional actors, and these are the main ones. So, for example, first and second level schools, which provide guidance activities to integrate the curriculum of students. Then we have universities and career service centers that support students in the transition from the high training context to the labor market through internships, mentoring, and job placement programs. We also have employment centers and public employment services which provide career counseling, which is more based on the labor market and also on the different information coming from the work world. And then we have training agencies and private organizations which offer specialized guides and products in collaboration with different companies. These are the four actors that we have that provide guidance services.
Diciamo, fare il punto della
So
situazione.
INAP made a point of all the situations to describe, see, and assess how the actions that were brought forward, to describe which were the actions that took place and through which tools guidance was implemented, which are the organizational forms to which it addresses, and analyzing many aspects with the aim of describing the process while implementing it, and also try and understand what are the problems and the points of strength of this process in order to bring about suggestions of how to improve strategies. So basically, we have engaged with professionals in guidance of the four realities that we took into account, schools and vocational training agencies. We took some samples, so we have engaged 1,348 schools meaning secondary schools and high schools, and also 1,003 professional training agencies, whereas for universities and employment centers, we did not take so many samples because we wanted to engage with all universities. And we got 77 replies out of 90, so basically almost all of universities. And with employment centers, we got almost half of the universe, let's say, of these employment centers. So we, in the end, we got a reply from 272. So we wanted to see how these guidance activities were implemented in these four realities. And let's see one of the questions which were asked about the activities carried out in guidance services. As you can see, information, counseling and welcome needs and analysis, guidance workshops. These are the activities that are mostly implemented out of the four realities that we have taken into account. And then we have below 60%, you see the activities that have a lower percentage are less represented in these four realities because they are not implemented by all of them. They are implemented or carried out only in some of them. So, for example, only in universities and school or only in professional centers. And we will see this in the next slide. So these are the activities carried out in each of the guidance services. So the four realities that we took into account. We can see that when it comes to guidance counseling and workshops, guidance workshops, support for individual planning and so on and so forth, you can see that, sorry, there is an issue with the slides. Just a second, please. Right, that's it. So in all four services, so schools, universities, and employment centers, and so on. Whereas for the activities that are aimed at positioning individuals into the labor market and giving information about the labor market and data about the characteristics, the features of the job offers which are present at the moment, and so how to build their own skills that are more adequate to the context they are in. These are the activities that are mostly carried out in training agencies and employment centers. Now, which are the tools that are used to carry out these activities? So what is the toolbox? We have many tools, really. As you can see on this graph, the tools that are used in all types of entities that we have considered. So even though we talk about pathways that are very specific, like guidance services that are carried out in universities compared to the ones that are carried out in employment centers. Anyway, the tools that we use are mostly the same. So leaflets or questionnaires that are given to analyze skills, individual skills, tests, and simulations, role play, psychometric tests. These are all tools that are used to engage with individuals in a guidance pathway that help them to create their own professional profile. Now, what are the professional profiles that are sorry, what are the aims, the goals that we have through the use of these tools? The ones that you see now in this slide are mostly about training agencies and employment centers. First, know one's personal resources, identify an educational or professional path, identify a professional and personal project, acquire additional skills in one's professional field, acquire specialized skills in a different field, change job in some cases. You see, especially for employment centers, this is one of the guidance activities that is very common. Now, obviously, all these aims, we wanted to leave them as they are, how the respondents indicated them. We didn't summarize them because we wanted to give an idea of how much diversification we can find within these objectives and these goals that are pursued by the four realities. Many of these things are overlapping, so they are the same, but anyway, they tell us about the peculiarity of guidance pathways. So that is why we wanted to give this data as they were indicated by the respondents. So in order not to amend or change the information that we got. So these are the objectives of training agencies and employment centers. Now let's see what are the objectives for schools and universities. They range from, they are much more differentiated between schools and universities. As you can see, the common ones are internships and traineeships that identify an educational or vocational training path is an objective that is pursued by schools rather than universities, because of course in universities guidance is more specific, as well as more aimed at building a professional profile, which is more specialized when it comes to, as it is high level training. Of course, in schools, another aim is to help individuals find their own educational or university pathway because they are choosing which university they want to attend. So either individuals want to start working immediately or they want to enroll to a university. And also integrate the field of expertise and personal skills, develop soft skills, and find first job. As you can see, for the schools, we have a lower percentage compared to universities because this goal, this aim is more pursued within universities rather than schools. So what are the professional profiles that carry out all of this? When it comes to schools, the points of reference for guidance are figures, professionals that are especially allocated to these activities. But I can already tell you here, one of the main issues that we detected, especially for schools, is that there are not enough professionals that are specifically dedicated to this activity, but it's teachers and professors that are in charge of guidance. And I can already tell you now, then we will say this again, this is a very important issue because guidance needs to have their own specific professional taking care of it. It doesn't have to be an activity that has to find somehow to find a space or some room which is even improvised within the school context. I mean, schools already have to take care of lessons and classes and so on and so forth. So it cannot be like that. So teachers and professors or administrative personnel is in charge of developing and implementing guidance activities. And the same goes for universities. We do not have specific figures taking care of guidance, but it's professionals and people who are already working in the school as teachers or in education in general. The situation it changes for professional training agencies and employment centers. We have professionals that are more trained for the purpose. So we have guidance coordinators. Sometimes technical and administrative staff is involved in guidance activities, but anyway, we have more psychologists and career counselors or tutors and social workers working in these two fields, who are more skilled to perform this kind of activities. So what are the main hurdles, obstacles, and issues that we have identified, which were highlighted by the respondents to the questionnaires and those who work directly in these contexts? One of them is the lack of a common steering committee. Basically, guidance is perceived as fragmented within different realities. So they feel the need of having a system or having a more organized system. They need a project that makes this systematized, codified, whereas the feeling that people working in this field have, is that actions that are performed are not coordinated. So everyone basically does whatever they want individually within their own reality. Another obstacle is the time dedicated to guidance activities. So we need times and places for guidance that are well defined, because we need to give dignity to this pathway in order to strengthen the culture of guidance, because still nowadays people feel that the importance of guidance was not highlighted. Despite the regulations and laws highlighting the importance of guidance, but in practice, we are still in a stage of defining and constructing a pathway. What people also request is more training for those who operate in the field of guidance, because they still feel that there is a low professionalization of people engaged in this process, and also more tools and a harmonization of the tools. If you go back to the slides that I showed you earlier, you will notice that the language, the tools, the goals, they were very diversified. Many things overlapped, but still there were many differences because the language is not systematized, it's not codified. We need more strict protocols, more standardized protocols in order for each individual that going into this pathway, they have a more standardized guidance. And then, last but not least, a lack of long-term planning, which is carried out in from a non-systemic perspective. This summarizes pretty much what I've just said. So this lack of a steering committee that holds pieces together in a systematized way. What we require is guidelines shared by all stakeholders, uniform criteria for the selection of guidance professionals at national level, a reduction of information dispersion on legislative measures. Sometimes we have so many regulations and laws that are not translated into practice, into actions. and also a more systematic planning of the activities, of guidance activities, especially for universities and schools. You see, in the slide, we have the percentage of what is more required by respondents to questionnaires. You see tools and methods, networking, training of professionals operating in the field of guidance, a greater availability of dedicated staff. This is also one of the requirements. I mean, this is a very complicated activity. Guidance is quite complex, so it has to be performed by people who are trained and allocated specifically to that activity. So this is a summary of requirements, what people who operate in the field of guidance require. So to conclude, these are the three key points of issues that we have identified and what is needed to improve the system. So first, overcome fragmentation by aiming for an integrated system, invest in the training of guidance professionals, implement impact analysis and evaluation processes. This is necessary to understand the efficiency of processes, but it is also important to clarify first and systematize the process, because without that, we cannot have an assessment. In order to assess, goals have to be clear and stated so that evaluators can identify the gap between the aim expected and the aim reached. And to conclude my presentation, I would like to give some quick suggestions. Digitalization. Sorry, there was someone with their mic open. Anyway, digitalization of services to ensure broader and immediate access to guidance resources, and also promote greater multi-professional and interdisciplinary collaboration to create a common language, enhance training actions for local operators and teachers, develop a guidance culture, then facilitate access to services for the most vulnerable people. Let's not forget that we have people in which are more vulnerable and need actions that are targeted for them, especially the needs, who are a population which is highly marginalized. By the way, ENAP is performing some surveys about the NEET reality, and also achieve a shared definition of essential service levels. But most of all, we have to aim at personalization of pathways with more targeted tools for different needs. Thank you very much for your attention. That's it from my side.
Thank you very much, Anna. Really excellent presentation. We've learned a lot.
Spero di essere stata chiara.
I hope everything was clear.
Yes, very clear. Actually, what I take from the from your presentation is this really very quite strict evidence-based approach. So looking at the evidence in order to improve the services. So even of not being ashamed of really finding out what is not working perfectly in order to improve the services. Also, we were quite impressed from the approach of ENAP exactly to evaluation and impact assessment. So we can see that also for career guidance, this approach is also taken very, very seriously. And actually, one of the elements that I will also maybe follow up is what you just said that you are also looking at the needs reality. So beyond the context, well, of career guidance, you look at the needs reality, because actually what now we were discussing also in Ukraine is to look at the reality of young people not in employment, education, or training, in order to really identify what they would need and what kind of services they would need in order to establish quality services within the Youth Guarantee Initiative. So this is like the very first step that Ukraine will take, this identification of needs of young people. But of course, the elements that you mentioned, the fragmentation of the system, also we will now hear colleagues from Ukraine as well, because one of the objectives of the new concept of career guidance in Ukraine was also to overcome the fragmentation of the system. But I understand that still there is quite a lot of work to be done, especially when it comes to training professionals that are delivering career guidance. That we heard already also from other countries, and I noted as one of the elements to be also follow up in the support for establishing the career guidance system within the new concept for Ukraine. But now, as we have some time for discussions and questions, maybe Natalia, if you wish to guide the discussions, we already have some questions that were posted in the chat. First question to Mrs. Ancora is how many times employment centers services in Italy can train job seeker, and what is the normal duration of such a training? Then there is also a question, what is the average duration of vocational education in Italy in order to master one of the professions? And we have also a question about still from Thermopylae Higher Professional School of Services and Tourism, so very active. Thank you very much for posing questions. So it's again, how many times actually employment service can retrain for free a person? And again, so what is the duration? So maybe I will give first the floor for the answer, and then I will give the floor to Natalia to guide further discussion from the working group. And I also invite colleagues from Euroguidance if have some questions. We also have colleagues from Polish Solidarity Fund. I say hello now. Thank you for joining us. Polish Solidarity Fund will work with the Ministry of Education and Science in Ukraine also to support career guidance new concept. And also we have colleagues from the European Commission, and of course we have a broad participation as well from public employment services from Ukraine, and we have vocational education centers. So please do not be shy to pose questions. It's a unique opportunity to have such a knowledgeable person with us that knows everything about career guidance system in Italy. So maybe I will ask Mrs. Ancora to, if possible, to answer the two questions that were posed, and then we will open for further discussion.
Luna, c'è una domanda in chat, rispondo.
So there is a question in the chat. The question is, how many times the employment center can train a person. So in Italy, there is no limit. Employment centers can train whenever people can go whenever they want. It's a free of service place. So whenever a person needs to go, the employment centers they can go basically. So despite these services are accessible, free of charge, and always available, their actions does not guarantee the entrance into the job market. But it doesn't depend on the employment centers. It depends on the reality of the place and the reality of the area and the availability of the market. As you know, in Italy, we have the issue of employment. We do have problems with employment. So even though employment centers try to connect people, individuals, and the job market, there is no guarantee that a person actually finds a job after being trained at a vocational training center or an employment centers. About timings, so what is the average duration of obtaining a profession? The average time is 3 years, especially for high training. So 3 years after obtaining the latest qualification, usually people enter the job market. Even though, let's say, make this time shorter, this is the average time, so 3 years.
Thank you very much for this precise answer. I hope that is clear. If not, we can still add for the discussion, but I will now give the floor to Natalia Rudnicka from the Ministry of Youth and Sports for guiding further discussion. We still have 5 minutes, but if needed, we can extend the time.
Так, єдине, що хочу одне питання, якщо дозволите, саме до першого спікера.
I have one question to our first speaker. I'm interested in what way do you make the unification of the youth single window to get additional training in this center? Shall they come themselves, or maybe some schools guide them into this center for retraining and additional knowledge? That is a question to Anna.
I'm not sure, Anna, if the question is clear to you, the question from Natalia.
No.
No, no.
No, no, Ivona, scusa, non ho capito.
No, sorry, I
Natalia.
didn't understand.
Є структура, установа, якою ви працюєте. Яким чином молодь дізнається про її діяльність? Це через перенаправлення.
So they are interested in, yes, there is a youth, and they need to find you. How they can get information about you? As the schools are sending young people to your center, or maybe you have advertisement campaign, I don't know. How do they know where to come if they have such a need?
There isn't translation.
Let's wait for the interpretation.
Actually, the interpreter already did the translation on the English channel. I don't know if Anna can maybe switch to the English channel. Anna, if you can, Sorry. Se puoi cambiare il canale to inglese per sentire la traduzione
I
in
don't know,
italiano.
Anna, if you can switch to English so that you can listen to translation. So where should I click
C'è
on?
un piccolo mondo sulla
So
base.
there is
So the
the globe
question
symbol
is
at
how young
the
people
bottom of the
know
slide.
or where they should come about the services you provide.
Esatto.
Maybe
So
the schools
interpreting
are sending them to the
Italian. Okay.
center,
So now I have selected
or
Italian.
maybe you have some kind of campaigns where they can
So
find
source
you,
audio Italian. Is that
or
right?
employment center send them to you.
I can't hear anything.
Sì, al momento non sente niente perché
So now you can't hear because there is no one talking in Italian. Ivana, can you please repeat the question because I haven't understood it. Now I have activated the interpretation, so
How young people
so if you can please repeat the question, thank you, because I was not able to listen before.
Yes,
I wasn't
that's
on
what
the
I
channel,
do.
on the
That's
right
what I
channel,
do
so I
now.
didn't hear
So
that.
how young people know about the services your center is providing? Maybe the school sends them to your center, or maybe they have some, I don't know, advertisement campaigns or something like that. Single window.
Allora, forse io aiuto in italiano, sarà più facile. Allora,
It's better if I say the question in Italian, maybe.
la
So the
domanda di
question
Natalia
question by
era
Natalia is,
come i giovani
how
possono
can young
trovare
people
i servizi che li
find different
aiutano
services
in
that can help
aiutamento.
them
Io ho capito dalla
in the guidance? So
presentazione
from the
che
presentation, I
anche
understood
c'è
that
ci sono dei servizi di
we have
orientamento anche
different
nelle
guidance
scuole e
services
poi
also at
ci sono
schools,
nelle
and then we
differenti
also have
enti pubbliche,
different
ma forse
public bodies. Maybe
può
could you
spiegare
expand a
ancora come
little bit on that?
funziona in
How
Italia, come trovare
the
i
access,
giovani?
how young people can find you? So the access to service, that's a really important question. So I really thank Natalia for asking that because that's a really important point. As we saw, guidance is an activity which is implemented in schools, universities, employment centers, and training agencies in Italy also. But this is an activity which is encompassed in a series, in a set of other activities that are carried out. So sometimes what is lacking is the guidance culture because the different roles are not well defined. So a lot of times in schools and universities, it's easier that students are involved because they are in a system, so professors are involving them. When they get out of those paths, whether they activate in first hand, so looking for employment centers, and sometimes they do not even know that we have some guidance activities which are available there, or also they address training agencies. So it's people themselves who need to get information online to have access to these services. And that's a critical point for us because access must be guaranteed, as I was also saying before, especially for fragile people, for excluded people which are out of the different paths of education and training, need students. And the process should be different. So it's the agency and the employment center who should look for them. So to contact them in some way, but sometimes the available resources do not allow such strong actions to be implemented. But these are the access points. I hope I have answered your question.
Grazie, Anna.
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have additional questions?
Так, в чаті я бачу,
We
є
do
запитання.
have,
Так.
I can see the question in chat.
So I can read the question in English. How is cooperation between schools, employers, employment services in the field of career guidance implemented in Italy? How it works, that it goes between the services?
Sì, sì, durante la rilevazione che
during the analysis that we have carried out, we have explored also the networking idea, so the networking actions between schools, universities, and companies. Also here the actions are fragmented. We do not have well-defined protocols. So the data on the networking action is present, so everyone is telling us that we do have a collaboration between schools, companies, universities, which is implemented somehow through job meetings. So different entrepreneurs, companies are invited to schools, and different professionals are invited for information webinars, information sessions within schools and universities. But these are just some events. They are not well defined, well structured, with a defined timeline. So also this action must be strengthened and improved, because of course this allows students to have a practical approach on the different opportunities for work, paths and careers. So it happens in this way. These are organized events which promote the meeting between the training world and the work, the labor world, the labor market.
Thank you very much, Anna. I hope that the answer is clear to Victoria, who posed the questions. I'm just checking whether there are some other questions. I do not see, Natalia also does not see any other questions. I would have a question to Anna, whether Anna can stay with us still for the second part of the meeting.
Certo, mi fermo. No, mi
Of
fermo.
course, I will stay with you. It would be a pleasure.
Because maybe we can break for 5 minutes, technical break, some water, some coffee, and we will start at 11:15. We will have the presentation of the new concept in Ukraine for career guidance and counseling. And then we will also have a time for discussion. So maybe we can have this cross-check of the practices in Italy and in Ukraine.
Bellissimo.
Thank you very much to all. Then let's break for 5 minutes and we reconvene in 11:15. Thank you. So, dear colleagues, welcome back. 5 minutes is very short, but the discussion is very interesting and the subject is very interesting. So I think that we can start already. With this, I would also like to welcome my colleague, Florian Kadlec, who is the ETF key expert for career guidance and counseling. Hello, Florian. And now, as per the agenda, we will listen the presentation of Ukrainian authorities related to new concept for career guidance and counseling. We are very much looking into hearing the presentation and then exploring the new concept, which is very important also in view of the new possible initiative of the Youth Guarantee in Ukraine, as we see career guidance and counseling as a key element supporting young people within their education and training, and then moving from education and training to the world of work, but also supporting young people in their careers farther from the education system itself, already on the labor market. So as I understand, I'm giving the floor to Natalia, who will share the presentation on behalf of the Ministry of Education and Science. Natalia is a multitasking person. I understand that the presentation will be in Ukrainian. I shared the English version with some colleagues that might be helpful for further discussion, but please, Natalia, I give the floor to you, and you share your screen. After that, we will have the possibility to still refer to Italian system and to see how the experience from Italy can support building the new concept. And then we can also open the discussion on the new concept itself. So please, Natalia, the floor is yours.
Так, дякую щиро, пані Ілона.
Sincere thanks.
Що вам видно на екрані?
I hope you can see my screen. Please confirm if you can see the presentation.
Yes, Natalia, we can see your presentation, but not in the full presentation mode yet. Excellent. Perfect. Thank you.
Щиро дякую.
Sincere thanks. Thank you for the support. Thanks to the ETF for your support in the process. We couldn't have done this without you. This is very valuable for us indeed. On my side, on behalf of the Ministry of Education, I would like to present the most important concept of development of the area of education. I will try to speak slowly to make the life easier for the interpreters and for the participants. So this is the development and improving the system of vocational guidance and career counseling in the formal education of Ukraine. So if we try to describe the legal framework in more details, I can say that the purpose of education is not only the comprehensive development of a person as a personality, but also we are trying to develop a specialist, a professional on the labor market. So we develop the human capital on the market. And education has to become a key to mobilizing the resources and opportunities in the country. This is the strategic description of the work of Ministry of Education and Science. As for the realities of today, we have a very big negative factor, which is the full-scale invasion into Ukraine, which has an impact on this sphere. And a big question for today is developing a strategic document that could guide the education in general in the country. Therefore, before developing a strategic document, we have a very big need to conduct representative surveys, to conduct the research in the area of education, so that we can understand what challenges we need to overcome, where we have to aim, and what we need to improve. In 2024, a research was conducted. It is representative because 1,866 respondents have been surveyed, and the most important question was, who has the biggest influence, or who had the biggest influence on your choice of your future profession? And 72.3% of respondents, young people, told that they were making the decision by themselves. So this shows that our young people think for themselves, and in their careers they understand that they have to make the decisions, and everything depends on them. Also, some other career guidance questions that we used in our survey to develop our next steps and to understand the area of strategy. First of all, the young people need to visit enterprises, to meet professionals, to participate in trainings, communication campaigns, which are oriented on young people and help them to find the direction of professional development, to find their place on the labor market. And some of the key problems of the students were the opportunities to find their way. This happens because the career guidance and counseling activities have to start at schools, at secondary schools, and even in the daycare, in the kindergartens. So this is a very long process of education improvement and further career guidance for the young people. We have a very important aspect in developing the concept. This is the vocational guidance for adolescents and possibilities of further help in choosing the education trajectory and future profession. So this is the list of challenges encountered by young people. For example, in the system of education, there is no general approach to professional guidance, to career guidance. So the future concept will take this approach into account to enable us to build an operational system of career guidance in the education. Most survey participants independently searched for information about professionals and educational institutions. So this is the same as in Italy. They participate in the process by themselves. Also, hobbies have a very big impact on the choice of the future profession. So, in many cases, young people see their hobbies as future professions. Also, students of vocational educational institutions have a better or clearer idea of their future profession due to access to production facilities and cooperation with enterprises. So this is a very big and powerful mechanism which helps develop the labor market. Also, career guidance for children with special educational needs will be included into the strategic document and into the future policies on career guidance for young people. The new concept will focus on engaging people from internally displaced families. We will pay more attention to their needs and to the needs of requalification. Of course, we already have this, but the system has to be improved to respond to the challenges of today. If we look at the statistics and figures of our previous and current research works, this is what we have. The most important problem is that there are not enough specialists or professionals or teachers who can implement career development activities. This is 22%. So we have a very big demand for professionals who could help young people to choose their future profession. So today, this is one of the biggest demands that we have to respond to in the nearest time, because the labor market and development of human capital are the most important demands of today. If we look into our research in more detail to see our challenges and needs, we can see that employers have certain demands to the young specialists and to the students. So the labor market has certain demand to the experts and specialists, and we need to help the career guidance professionals to motivate young people. If we analyze the history, the research works show the following points. In 60% of the countries, there are national policies on career counseling and guidance, and this serves as an important factor in the professional guidance concept, and it helps the education area a lot. Also, many countries, 85% of countries have career counseling available at schools. A lot of countries use digital platforms for career guidance, and which are very useful for obtaining different skills. Also, there is cross-sectoral activities of international partners and interest of different stakeholders in implementing the policies. We can try to identify the most important problems of today. The problems are that some professionals, that we don't have enough professionals on the market. So if we look at the general concept of career guidance, certain approaches have been developed. This is integration with the educational process, involvement of different stakeholders, access to quality information, availability of different information about different skills, in particular from different stakeholders. Also, we have the labor market, which is interested and relevant career guidance professionals. I'm sorry, I have some technical problems. All right. If we look at the key tools and important concepts in the career guidance, first of all, it is built on the following terminology. This is personal, educational institutions, employers, community, government, and society. So this is a big list of interrelated institutions and actors who are interested in career guidance and in the education, because this challenge concerns the labor market and preparation and education of relevant professionals. In general, I would like to mention the focus of our future concept. So these are the conclusions that we have for the future concerning quantitative and qualitative aspects. These are the career guidance activities at schools, preparation of career counselors, because we don't have enough of those counselors right now. And the new concept will ensure this. Some other challenges that the concept is aimed to resolve. This is the limited access to high quality and up-to-date career guidance, because now it is difficult to formulate professional development trajectories. Currently, students from rural schools and regions have been affected by the war, and they have some limited access to career guidance. So the new concept is aimed to resolve this issue. Also, employers note a shortage of technical professionals and practical skills among employees. We are not talking about limitation of young people to getting practical experience, but also it's necessary to see how they would like to see how different enterprises work in order to make decisions about their careers. Also, there is a need for professional orientation in the elementary schools. It will give the young pupils and students the opportunity to choose a profile and develop the necessary competencies. Also, one of the priorities of the education ministries are the European integration processes. They will try to harmonize the Ukrainian legislation in the area of education to harmonize it with the European Union, so that our legal framework would work on the level of the European Union. And one of the biggest problems that we have, and we know about it, this is our current conditions. This is the full-scale invasion. So the education sector we need to use the career guidance processes to improve the strength of our workforce. So where are we moving forward, and what are the main needs in the area of career guidance? First of all, we need to create an accessible and flexible system of professional orientation and career counseling. This is the demand that we have for the future, and it will help strengthen our human capital and restore and rebuild our country. Also, this is the development of personality, forming the values and principles, so that students, young students or adolescents or university students can form their principles, and they will have opportunities to improve their competencies and engage in retraining. The system will enhance the development of human capital and strengthen the civil society. In the future, it will promote the rebuilding of our country and enhancing its economic capacities. As for the components of the document, as a strategic one, so this document, this concept will have 6 main sections or building blocks. They will promote building of a strong system to prepare the staff, the workforce, and to develop the different areas of education. First of all, it will define the standards. It will provide institutional support for career guidance and career counseling. It will ensure cooperation between government authorities, local governments, businesses, and educational institutions and the public sector. Updating the content of education will concern enhancing of guidance components, creation of textbooks, manuals, and teaching materials. One section will be dedicated to training of professionals for the implementation of career guidance. Also, it will ensure creation and development of modern online resources like digital materials and professional platforms. Because more and more people are living in their smartphones now, and it will help the young people to improve and enhance their skills. So this is one of the priority structural elements for professional and career guidance in education. Also, one section will be dedicated to development of career guidance hubs, career centers. So there will be the opportunities of strengthening the system. We will have a complete framework in the education, in the sphere of education on career guidance. If we look every building block, every section in more detail, we can see that every component in the strategy is broken down into smaller steps in order to achieve the key aim. For example, besides developing the draft concept, which will regulate this area, it will also lead to the improvement of other rules and regulations, which are necessary to implement the project in real life. We know that different documents are being developed on the basis of research and facts. We have qualitative and quantitative research. So we will need to do the monitoring of career guidance activities. We will need to develop the methodology and criteria, and it will show us the way to go. Of course, we will do the labor market research. It is very important to build up and develop a workable document. We will also be updating the criteria and indicators for evaluating educational processes. We will conduct a comprehensive information campaign so that more people will know what is happening in this area. We will also attract different international partners who are interested, because this is a very serious component. It concerns not only experience exchange, but also it will allow us to fulfill our strategic tasks in order to develop a comprehensive system of career guidance and counseling for young people, in order to strengthen the future labor market. As for the second component of institutional support of career guidance, now we have created an intersectoral working group. We are establishing cross-sectoral cooperation. We are building conditions for development of internships so that young people can see how an enterprise works in real life. And this is a very important component, so that young people will have more information when they make a decision about their future profession. Then the third component is updating the content of education. According to this component, we need to update the content of education and then the practical training. So first of all, this is the choice of profession when young people understand where they can be useful on the labor market. And it starts, of course, in the educational institutions. I'm not going to read all the subtasks, but besides the developing the in-depth course, we will also be developing recommendations for the career counselors. We will develop recommendations for inclusive process. All these components have to be interrelated in order to fulfill the general concept. Number 4, training of personnel. This is a very important structural element or factor, and without well-trained personnel, this concept will not be working. So we need to motivate the personnel and strengthen their capacities. We need to work with the educators and experts who are now doing the career guidance component. First of all, this is the possibilities of service provision and education and training. We will work with the career guides, career counselors and teachers who will help the young people to make decision about their future professions. Also, we need to provide educational and methodology support for the teachers and instructors in order to help them do the career guidance. I would like to mention that we are going to adapt our educational curricula. In particular, additional functions will be added for instructors, pedagogues, and other professionals in education so that they can better help the young people. Next component is creation and development of modern online resources. This is the possibility of getting trainings on different digital platforms, and it will help orient young people when they decide about their future professional activities and future education. Another important element is development of modern digital tools for counseling and career guidance. These are the possibilities to have a quicker and mobile support for young people when they choose their professions. Development of hubs, career centers, creation of favorable environment for the development of flexible career guidance models. We are going to develop a network of inter-school resource centers to facilitate the choice of special education in basic and specialized secondary schools. Also, this is the development of network of career development centers and development and testing of different models and methods of career guidance in communities based on educational and institutions and internships. Also, we need to pilot this process, taking into account the components of inclusion, gender equality, and non-discrimination. So these were the 6 building blocks of the future concept. I believe that this big strategic document will encompass all the important aspects and cover the professional guidance in the area of education. If we speak more specifically, we have professional orientation on the level of education. And also, we have different areas of work, starting with the basic education and ending with the career centers. We have different school grades, for example, 5th, 6th grades, grades 1, 4, so elementary. In the elementary school, teachers are trying to understand the interest of children in order to select their future profile. For example, in the preschool educational institutions, we have early familiarization with different professions in the daycare centers. What if we look at high schools, like we have the basic and advanced education in the 10th, 11th, and 12th grades. So in the advanced schools, young people have more workload and better opportunities to select their future profession. And in order to capitalize on their interests and their professional professional interests. For example, if an adolescent already undergoes training on a platform, it will help them to choose their profession and to select a university or college. In the high advanced school, we have a lot of different guidelines and textbooks online. So adolescents, children, and adults can use these materials to select their future profession and to get the necessary information. It will help them find their place on the labor market. As for the cross-sectoral aspect and interrelations, career guidance happens very often in the educational institutions. This process is going to be successful if the students get additional opportunities in their universities. If we take a more specific look on the career guidance and informing, right now we have the scheme of engaging different stakeholders. So young people can make a conscious choice of profession, do career planning, use different opportunities of practice and employment. So we are engaging educational institutions, career development centers, national online resources, state employment services, and employer resources, which help young people to familiarize with future possibilities. The Career Development Center has 5 areas of work. This is career counseling and coaching, partnership networking, monitoring and analytics, development of competences, and informational support. So these are the important lines of work of career development centers. Gaining practical experience during the studies. So students have possibilities to participate in project-based learning, masterclasses and workshops, joint projects with business and with public organizations. They participate in student research projects, mini enterprises and startups, dual education, practice-oriented training modules. Also, they can use the mentoring and apprenticeship. This is another important aspect because it gives young people advice on professional development, competencies, and building of their careers. It will help coordinate young people and help them choose their future profession. As I mentioned earlier, we still have a big need in professionals and specialists who will help young people to decide on their future careers. They can help through counseling and hobbies. So in the preschool and in the secondary school, the professionals will work who will help children. And when we need to help those professionals. A few words about our ambitious tasks. We can say that professional orientation is not a sprint race of the final years of high school. This is a long-distance marathon. And every step is important here so that young people can get high-quality education and so that our country can strengthen its human capital. I would like to thank you for the attention. So the concept was developed by different experts. We engaged a lot of professionals. we had an international partnership. The Ministry of Education was participating, as well as the USAID and other international agencies. This document is still under review. We have a lot of amendments and suggestions and offers to the document. And now this document is getting prepared as one of the pieces of our legislation. This document is going to provide the general guidance. And in Ukraine, we already have a lot of other activities underway in career guidance and in counseling, in the preschool institutions, at schools, in the universities, and for the youth in general. As far as I understand, the concept is at the stage of approval right now, and the building blocks described in the concept are operating even now. But the concept is going to improve them. This is the end of my presentation. I would like to thank you once again for your attention. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Natalia. Really excellent presentation, very thorough and detailed and very informative. I think that there is a lot of there are a lot of elements that we can further discuss. From my end, what I take is that career guidance and counseling is a high priority currently, not only because of the situation that Ukraine is facing, but there is a need to support within education and training system and beyond education and training system. So I'm very happy to hear this. I'm also very happy to hear that there are very thorough advancements of the concept itself that would then enter also into the legislation. But this is what I take from my end. But we have with us real professionals on career guidance and counseling, professional orientation. So I would open the floor for discussion, maybe some reflections, also a comparative from different countries. I invite Anna, obviously, from for the reflection from Italy, but we also have Eva from Austria, so welcome for the discussion as well. We also have Doriane from Malta, and we have, of course, Florian from the European Training Foundation, our key expert that is looking also at different international experiences. So I would give the floor to all of you, but of course there is also an opportunity for the colleagues from Ukraine to pose questions. We have Yana from National Qualification Agency that we will hear afterwards, but maybe also some reflections, Yana, if you wish to join. But we also have State Employment Service, we have vocational education institutions. So please, we already have Anna that is raising her hand for discussion, but please do not be shy.
Yes, I would just like to say that, well, first of all, congratulations for the excellent presentation that really gives a lot of food for thought. And I see there are many things in common and alignments with the structure of our organization of training. But I also see already that you have made some steps forward, because the attention to training of those who take care of guidance was very well argumented and highlighted. And this is a very important point, because those who deal with guidance have to be how can I put this? They have to be structured and they have to be competent because they have to be the compass of all of it. Those who guide, they have to know what is the composition of the job market, what are the activities, and especially also refer to technology advancement. They have to be constantly updated about the opportunities that technology gives us, and that this opens very strong opportunities to also recover those who are more marginalized in the context. And I'm especially talking about needs, the ones that are excluded from the circuits of training and work and jobs. They have to be in this at the very heart of the discussion for the access to these services, and they have to be engaged even in a stronger way in the pathways and guidance in general. So yes, I was noticing this, and I would like to highlight that Natalia really explained very well the attention to the training and competencies. Thank you. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much, Anna. Some further reflections, some questions from the colleagues.
If I may, Ivona?
Please, of course, please go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Really nice to see you all, and thanks a lot for the very interesting presentation, Natalia. I had the chance to listen to parts of this earlier at an event in ETF. There are 4 points, if I may, that I would like to share with you. So one is your first activity on the career guidance standards. I think that is really lies at the heart of the reform. Making sure that the development of the career guidance standards that you have really follows a very participatory approach involving all relevant stakeholders. And ETF is very happy to share with you the experience of the recent engagement in career guidance standards development in other partner countries. So we can share with you the process and the experience. Important is here, while you do focus on education, the standards should be cross-sectorial. They should reach and cover education, employment, youth, social inclusion sectors to be really one holistic set of standards that is then setting the standards, yeah, across the different services. Because imagine simply an individual at one point goes to school, but at another point, the individual will be a worker, or will be an unemployed, or will be sick. So we need to view that from a system point of view, the career guidance element, and look it from the perspective of the individual in his or her life path. So that's one element I wanted to address. The other point is, it's really beautiful what you outlined regarding the work on career guidance within the education system. I just wanted to highlight one aspect that is sometimes overlooked. We very strongly see a focus on information provision and helping people learn about different professions. But what we overlook very often is that information will not help people identify interest. Interest develops through experience. So I can only know what I like if I know about different things. And most young people know about, as we know from OECD research, 10 professions. So opening opportunities for real life experience is so important, and that shall start from very early age, from primary schooling. And I'm looking at Dorian, who can surely share experience from their work in early education. it's really important that we go beyond information, helping make experience, because that will allow a young girl also find interest in typical male professions, help find a young boy that is coming from a very low socioeconomic background with only blue-collar workers in the family, be interested in higher education professions. So this is how we break barriers, through experience. Sorry for being long, but two more short comments. Coming back to that aspect of cross-sectorial standards, it's important that we think also what happens in the time that young people are not in the formal schooling system. So thinking about the responsibility of youth work for career guidance. And that relates a bit to the whole youth guarantee discussion that you're also engaging in. So we need to think about out of school support, so that to not overlook that. And that relates also to the lifelong aspect. So when we think about the career guidance standards, so we have to consider also adults, because adults who are workers are also learners. They go back to higher education for a training maybe, or go to an adult learning course in a non-formal learning education. So we need to think about also adults when we think about the office that we have. So I stop here. I hope this was useful. Over to colleagues.
Thank you very much, Florian. Really very important points for reflection. I still open the floor. We can still have a few minutes for further reflections, but we will of course continue in the third session. So maybe some of the thoughts will still come. We have a hand raised of Eva, and I see also Dorian would like to intervene. So maybe I will ask Eva and then Dorian to continue. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for these truly inspiring insights from Italy and Ukraine. From a Euroguidance perspective, I can say that the exchange of common challenges really truly helps to understand how innovative solutions can be found to common problems. I think if we look at youth, we are now at times of disruption. Yeah, we have gathered experience not only in the pandemic, but now a disruption through war, how to deal with it. And I think there is so much to learn from each other. So thank you so much for the opportunity of being here. Yeah, I'm handing over to my colleague, Dorian.
Hi, good morning, and thank you for being here for this invitation. It was a very inspiring two presentations from Italy and from Ukraine. I just wanted to stress what Florian mentioned about the importance of starting career education from an early age. We know that research shows that youngsters tend to eliminate careers because of gender, because of social class. So we realized, and we are stressing this in Malta, the importance of getting students at a young age to think about the future, what they're interested. We are not, it is not the time for students to choose their careers. The idea is not that it's just encouraging students to have aspirations, to have dreams, because as mentioned earlier, we know that through the OECD research on career readiness, we know how limited students tend to be at an early age when they come to choose their careers. So in Malta, we are undertaking a lot of importance to strengthening career guidance in the primary sector. And through your presentation, it seems that you also plan to start early in this, it's also important to get the schools on board with this idea and the heads of schools. So And once again, the importance which you highlighted of having qualified practitioners who deliver these sessions in schools. Obviously, I am referring here to schools because this is my remit. I work in the education sector. So through many years of experience, we feel that starting young is very helpful. It's very profitable for, especially for to help students to choose their career orientation later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eva and Dorian, for those reflections. Indeed, well, what myself as not a professional in career guidance and counseling, but I notice this importance of lifelong career guidance and counseling and orientation, because while Dorian stressed the importance of starting at early age, and we have also the comment of Julia in the chat, who stress also the importance of engaging employers, of course, in the workplace, and also for professional orientation, and also for upskilling and reskilling and changing profession, and because of course the labor market is very dynamic. So I take this note of the lifelong career guidance and counseling, and also linking with a presentation of Anna is how to avoid the key question is how to avoid the fragmentation. So it's really like lifelong without breaks in services. I thank you very much. I do not see further comments. And now, yes, we have a reflection from Florian in the chat. Let me just read that. Summing up, the recommendation is to start from grade 1 in primary school and not at the last 2 years of primary. This will allow developing skills, career management, and development that also entail important life skills, social and emotional skills. So indeed, what was stressed also by Florian, that this part of social and emotional is very important, not only really linked with future profession. So thank you very much for this reflection. I would still suggest that maybe we break for some stretching and a quick coffee for 5 minutes, and we will continue with the last part of our today's meeting, focusing on the work that is being done by a Euroguidance network, to which now also with which Ukraine is also collaborating. So I would suggest that we meet again at 12:10. And we reconvene here, and we continue our discussion. And also we will have very, very interesting presentations. Thank
Ivona,
you very much.
apologies,
Yes.
just one sentence, if you allow me, because there is an important
I
question.
don't know. Yes, sorry, because I did not see you. You wanted to. Yes, yes, please.
No problem. There's an important question of a colleague from the Higher Professional Commercial School. How do we assess career guidance? I think in one sentence, when we talk about career guidance, it's about learning. Yeah, it's not about only services like 5 workshops conducted. Yeah, no, we talk about learning. It's about learning career management skills. So you assess the progress in learning. Most typical, it's about formative assessment, not summative assessment, but it is about learning. Just wanted to quickly respond to that, but maybe then in the session of Euroguidance, they are very experienced in that, so they can also reflect on that. You're muted, Ivona.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Florian, and please accept my excuses that I missed the question. But thank you very much, Florian, for spotting in. But with this, maybe we can reconvene at 12:15. We will still have time for the discussion and for the presentation. Thank you very much, and see you in 7 minutes. The music is off, the break is finished, and now we can start our last part of today's meeting. Last but absolutely not least, I'm really very happy to have with us Eva Balok-Kolainov from Euroguidance Austria and Doriana Gravina from Ministry for Education, Sport, Youth, Research and Innovation from Euroguidance Malta. And we also have with us Jana Bobirec from the National Qualification Agency, who is also taking part in the Euroguidance Ukraine. With this, I just wanted to say that we have 45 minutes for the session. Please do not worry that we have this slight delay because we don't need to have much time for the closing remarks. So I'm very happy that you found time to be here today with us for this very important discussion. As you could see, taking the experience from Italy, but also the reflection on the new career guidance and counseling concept for Ukraine, taking a lot of international experience and practices and lessons learned, as we could hear. But we would also be very happy to listen about the Euroguidance network and about your work. And with this, I will give the floor to Eva, Doriana, and Jana for their presentation. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ivana, for this very warm welcome. We're very happy to be joining you today. Dobry den on behalf of the Euroguidance Network's steering group. The three of us will now walk you through how Euroguidance is supporting newcomer countries and how the countries can benefit on a national level. So I will start, then hand over to Dorian, and then Jana will inform us how Euroguidance Ukraine is setting up the work. Let me share my screen with you. I want to share the whole screen, yes. So here, let me go back. Just a second. I was following the previous presentation in English. Thank you for providing it to us. Okay, so yeah, today we will walk you through how we support newcomer countries. As already said, Ukraine and three other countries have joined the network recently, namely in 2024. And I will start by introducing two. Can you see my screen? Yeah. And I will start. Perfectly. Wonderful. I will start by informing you about a study visit that was provided to the newcomer countries in Austria at the end of April. Yes, and it was given to representatives from 4 countries plus 2 guests, and you can see here the countries. It was Bosnia-Herzegovina, Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine, and the colleagues came from the network's EQF, the National Coordination Points for EQF, Europass and Euroguidance, which happen to be in one office in Ukraine and also in Austria, because we share, we all are working under Erasmus Plus funding, supervised by DG Employment, and we have a common call to follow. We are the 3 policy networks, so naturally there are synergies, and we are very closely working together on national level and also cross-nationally. The focus of our study visit in Austria, which was actually initiated by the heads of Euroguidance Ukraine and Austria in a meeting in Brussels. That was when the idea was born in June 2024. We said, yes, let's do it. And the focus was on exchange on vocational education and guidance systems, give some insights into Austrian practices. So also I can now give you some highlights because I will walk you through, and then think about further cooperation. And I can overall say that it was a very useful learning experience for every participant, including the host country. And I would always recommend doing it again, maybe when we have newcomers under the new Erasmus Plus call, yes. Perhaps a little bit earlier in time, that was also one of the feedback. It was very useful, but we could have benefited from it a year earlier, yes. So these here, the countries, the guests from Switzerland and Belgium, Flanders, they came from Europass. All the other countries had the 3 networks represented. You see a group picture in front of our premises here in Austria. Yeah, and the program, all the PowerPoint presentations are available online. Perhaps I can also post the link in the chat. Later on, I will give you the link when Dorian is speaking. And just to highlight a few facts, yeah. Our organization is the OEAD, the Institution for Internationalization in Austria. And yes, we have contact offices, regional cooperation offices also in Ukraine. And I was asked to extend my greetings to all of you from the organizers and operative people. We have one cooperation office in Uzhhorod, focused on regional cooperation, specifically in the pre-university sector. So psychological support, digital teaching and learning, vocational education and training. And we have one scientific cooperation office in Lviv, yeah, and in Shanghai. And this is focused on higher education. Yeah, we had in the study visit, we had a welcome by the European Commission, the Director General for Education, Youth, Sports and Culture. And they gave us interesting insights into the direction in which the EU is heading. And Ukraine was shown as a potential candidate country, not yet associated to Erasmus Plus, but hopefully very soon associated to Erasmus Plus. This will greatly help us to fulfill our strategic also aim at as a Euroguidance network to help developing the competencies of guidance practitioners also through European mobility, yeah, and mutual exchange. Yeah. The vocational education system here in Austria, I can throw in one chart next to the Italian and Ukrainian system. The presentation was given by our CEDEFOP CareersNet expert, and you can always reach out to him. He was focusing, like, first of all, on the fact that Austria has a very strong VET system. If you look at the chart, nearly 80% of upper secondary students are enrolled in VET programs, including apprenticeship. Yeah, and only 24% are going to academic secondary, general education schools. And of course, guidance plays an important role when you have so many choices. Yeah. I will also give you a chart of the Austrian education system in the chat in German and Ukrainian for youth. Right, so we compared these systems. The partner countries introduced their system. For Ukraine, it was the National Qualifications Framework, very, very like fruitful discussions. And then we went to on-site study visits. And I think, I really hope we could gain a lot of insights. And also it was an inspiring experience for our host. For instance, here, the Public Employment Service in Vienna for youth to receive the questions to discuss with the participants. Here you see the youth unemployment rate in Austria still at 11.2%. So a lot of measures are being developed to help vulnerable groups, young people. Yeah, and yeah, cannot go into detail, but you can find all the information online. And then on day 2, we had another on-site study visit to a youth guidance and training center, Wienwerk it's called. But in the morning, we participated at a Europass stakeholder conference. And I just want to mention that Europass provides very useful tools for guidance for not only the end user, but also for guidance practitioners, for instance, labor market trends, etc. And I would recommend to look into the keynote of Koen Nomden on the union of skills and how Europass fits in, which was provided in English. All the other things were translated into English for the group who participated. Yeah, and the youth center providing vocational education for vulnerable young people here is specialized for on young students with special needs. And I think this was also an important insight into how the youth guarantee in Austria is implemented. We now have a training guarantee until 18, so every young person has to have a plan and is being reached in case they are dropping out. But of course, we aim at doing preventive work, having the youth coaching counselors also in schools, like approaching and reaching out to those who are in danger of dropping out. Yeah, and on day 3, the guests had the possibility to exchange with the services that we have here at the ÖIAD. And I think that was also a very nice exercise before we then entered into technical questions on how we work on a network level. Yeah, these were was the feedback by the participants. So I can only agree that it was a very good mutual learning experience for everyone. Yeah, and just as the webinar we are having today. And yes, so this was just one example of how we empower each other, how we mutually learn. But there is more that the Euroguidance Network is doing, and I'm handing over to Dorian to inform you about other measures Euroguidance Network has in stock.
Thank you, Eva, for the presentation and for sharing a practical example of how the Euroguidance Network actually supports newcomers. So I just want to start off my short presentation by saying that the Euroguidance Center in Malta is situated within the Ministry for Education, Sport, Youth, Research and Innovation. My department is in fact responsible for overseeing career guidance provision within the state primary, secondary and post-secondary schools. So we find that it is the center is at the right place because it supports a lot of the work that we do in our schools. Yes, please, if you can move on to the slide. So the plan is that I share with you how the Euroguidance Networks supports the newcomer countries. So as Eva mentioned previously, one of the main aim of the network is to support the competence development of our guidance practitioners. And one of the main task group, in fact, precisely focuses on supporting newcomer countries. How do we do this? We start off with having a handbook for newcomers, which provides information which a newcomer can get, a newcomer to the network can get acquainted with the network. And we also provide support in giving an overview of the working methods of the network at national and European level. So this is an internal working document which supports newcomer countries within the Euroguidance network. As we also try to support newcomers by getting them into contact with experienced network members so that they support, mentor newcomers. And for example, I can mention that they're supporting in a new center in developing their plan of action, planning what the grant, how they want to develop their actions, which supports obviously their career guidance system. And we also organize peer learning sessions during the network meetings precisely for newcomer countries, where we have workshops for centers who have joined the network, and we discuss challenges. We support newcomers who want to set up their center, and we share ideas and how to approach certain challenges when one is developing their center for the first time. Yes, right. So one of the ways how the Euroguidance network can support newcomer countries is through the Euroguidance network website. We have a website, euroguidance.eu, and there you can find a lot of information, initiatives, and opportunities which countries can access this information to get to know information about different aspects. For example, one of our main focus is on encouraging international mobility. We know that the opportunities for study visits, it's a great opportunity to obtain new skills and competences for our guidance practitioners. And one can access the Euroguidance website to get information about the different training opportunities which are on offer, offered by the different centers. For example, we have what we call academia mobility opportunities, where guidance practitioners are given the opportunity to participate in learning mobility periods in different countries. There you can access which are the centers which offer academia mobility opportunities. And the idea is that academia coordinators then send their own guidance practitioners abroad and receive practitioners for the duration of a few days. There are other mobility opportunities, for example, cross-border seminars, where guidance counselors and policymakers from different European countries can exchange their expertise and guidance practices, where workshops are also led on different guidance topics. And these are learning experiences for guidance practitioners, and they will get ideas how to develop even their guidance systems. Yes, next slide, please, Eva. Yes, on the Euroguidance website, you can also find information about the different guidance descriptions, and you can get insights on how the different countries develop their guidance systems, and you can get an overall idea of the different guidance systems. Presently, we have 38 members of the Euroguidance network, and you can find information about all the different guidance systems. Another interesting section of the website is the section which refers to good practice database. It is a section which showcases a collection of good practices from across Europe. This database provides valuable insights and knowledge to the guidance community about the different guidance practices found in the different countries. One can even search and filter practices according to different criteria. For example, if one is interested in learning about different practices, good practices for youth, for specific target groups, one can narrow the search in this respect. One can look for practices in specific countries, for example, the different countries, like searching practices offered, good practices which are being offered in Malta and other countries. Yes, you can move on to the next slide. Another section of the website which provides a lot of insight and information is the section entitled Publications, where you can find what we produce insight articles, which is the Euroguidance Network magazine, published 1 to 2 times per year, which gives information about topical issues around mobility and guidance. We also produce the Euroguidance Highlights, which, as the name states, it presents the yearly achievements of the different Euroguidance networks, the Euroguidance centers. So there you can get even ideas what other centers are focusing on in their own countries. You also have the opportunity to subscribe to our newsletter, which you can find on the website, and you can subscribe and get information about the latest news about our activities and events. We also have our communication channel. The website is used as an internal communication channels of the different by the different network centers, but we also use the website to inform the general public about the latest publications. We also have social media, the use of Facebook and LinkedIn. And as I mentioned earlier, you can also subscribe to the newsletter and also have access to the different social channels. So you are informed about the different opportunities, events which are being organized by the Euroguidance network. And finally, I think it is important to mention the many different online learning opportunities. As network, as I mentioned earlier, one of our focus is strengthening the competence development of our practitioners, and we hold regular webinars focusing on different topics. And you can also find the recorded webinars on the website. But you will also find information about the future webinars, which will be organized by the Euroguidance network. And obviously, there are other opportunities to follow online courses, e-learning courses which you can find information on our website. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eva and Dorian. Really inspiring, I need to say, when it comes to peer learning opportunities and learning opportunities overall. We had a question posed in the chat, how it is possible to access the information. I think that Dorian explained that through a web page, there is a website, there is a wealth of information, including access to past and future webinars. There is a specific question on the handbook for newcomers that you mentioned, whether it could also be found on the web page, and if not, how it could be accessed. And I would also have a question before we give the floor to Jana, who already experienced how the center established in Naka was entering into Euroguidance network. With just a question, because I understand that the whole network works under Erasmus Plus. You mentioned that there are some limitations because of the status of Ukraine in Erasmus Plus as such, but are all those materials and opportunities accessible for Ukraine? This is the question.
Definitely.
Limitations, yes. So just to clarify whether colleagues can access all the information that is on your web page, plus this additional documentation.
Yeah. Euroguidance Ukraine is a full member of the Euroguidance network, but Jana Bobirets will explain how this is linked.
Okay, thank you very much. So I will give now the floor to Jana, so we will still explain how it works specifically in the context of Ukraine. Thank you very much, Jana, for being with us.
My greetings to all. Thank you for the floor. Sorry, just. So, dear organizers, colleagues, and participants, it is a great pleasure to greet you today on behalf of the Euroguidance Center in Ukraine. I would like to sincerely thank the organizers for the opportunity to join this important event dedicated to the topic of career guidance and counseling. My name is Jana Bobirets, and today I represent the Euroguidance Center in Ukraine. I am pleased to present the work of our center. Now I will demonstrate the presentation on the screen. Please just a few seconds. So, do you see my screen?
Yes, thank you. It's perfect.
So, Euroguidance Center in Ukraine. It is important to note that Euroguidance, Europass, and NCP EQF centers were launched. Some technical. Were launched in July 2024. The centers operate on the basis of the National Qualification Agency within the NC4UA project and integrate the best practices in the career guidance and counselor sphere. The centers are actively working and promoting European instrument that facilitates the development of career guidance and counseling, recognition of qualification, and support for citizens' mobility. Let me briefly outline the purpose and services of the Euroguidance Center in Ukraine. As you see on the slide, our main goal is to support the development of a system of lifelong career guidance by drawing on European experience and best practices. This means not only sharing information, but also actively promoting European standards, providing methodological support, and contributing to the shaping of national policy in this field. The services we offer are designed to meet the needs of a wide range of stakeholders, from school and university staff to career guidance practitioners, and of course, students, graduates, and the general public. On this slide, you can see the main task of the Euroguidance Center in Ukraine. First of all, we work closely with the other Euroguidance centers and European networks to ensure alignment with European practices. The main directions of our work include promoting the development of competencies of practitioners in the field of career guidance, providing quality advice and information support in Ukraine on educational and career opportunities, as well as organizing seminars, webinars, workshops, national conferences, and other events to share the best experience and, I would say, raise awareness in the field of career guidance, mobility, and qualification. And of course, launch of Euroguidance regional centers in Ukraine. Also, we are forming an expert environment in the field of career counseling. The Euroguidance Center in Ukraine is a key platform for the development of lifelong career guidance. The center cooperates with the business sector, the State Employment Service, the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine, schools, universities, and professional associations to accumulate information in field of career guidance and mobility, and also share best European practices and provide quality services to stakeholders. We are currently forming an expert community in the field of career guidance in Ukraine. I would say a network of practitioners, career counselors, educators, employment service specialists, as well as leading Ukrainian platform and initiate in this field. This community will become the basis for sharing experience, implementing European practices, and to build a high-quality career counseling system. Ukraine is now visibly present on the European career guidance map, and this is just the beginning. As part of our integration into the Euroguidance network, we have already made our first contribution. For example, the official website Study in Ukraine, which provides information for international students, was analyzed and posted on the Euroguidance network website, making our national resource visible at the European level. We have also conducted research on the national career guidance system, as well as a review of exciting digital tools and platforms used in Ukraine to support career guidance. We are grateful to the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine and the State Employment Service for their assistance in this matter. In terms of cooperation, we have established links with other Euroguidance centers across Europe, and we are also actively working at the national level, launching partnerships with Ukrainian organizations involved in career guidance. We have already held several joint events, both online and in person, and we have planning more activities in the near future to strengthen this collaboration. Here you can see some of the events we have already organized or participated in as part of our activities. These events show that we are actively working with the professionals and partners to develop a modern career guidance system in Ukraine that reflects European approaches and values. As my colleague Eva mentioned before, we recently had a very useful study visit to Austria. This visit was extremely valuable for us. We received important information about the best European practices in career guidance and the implementation of Europass tools. Of course, it helped us better understand how to develop and improve our own national systems by learning directly from European experts and colleagues. We also had an event also. So, and what about next steps? Looking ahead, we have planned several important events, as you can see on the slide. Our main goals are to strengthen cooperation between stakeholders in the field of career guidance and education, to raise awareness of Europass and Euro guidance centers, and also promote the best practices and innovative, I would say, approaches in career guidance. Thank you for your attention. Do you have any questions?
Thank you so much, Jana. Excellent presentation. So a lot is happening actually already, although the center is very young, as I understand, established just last year. So congratulations. I would just have one from myself a question, because you mentioned that there will be a festival now, the events that will start actually tomorrow. So maybe you that are even together with us today could access those events. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. In this case, I will switch to the Ukrainian language.
If I may, I just wanted to say, Jana, very nice to meet you. Not yet in person. I was supposed to come to Vienna and see you and the Ukrainian colleagues there. I was unfortunately not able to go in the end. But let me just re-emphasize that I put now my email address in the chat. So please feel free anytime to contact me. Of course, next to the brilliant colleagues from Euroguidance.
Дякую за підтримку. І стосовно вашого питання щодо
Thank you for the support.
щодо наступних кроків,
As for
так,
our
звичайно,
future
у нас
steps and
заплановано
activities,
декілька таких
yes, of
важливих
course,
івентів.
we have planned several important events.
В місті Київ на ВДНХ.
One of them will happen
Ті,
in the
хто
city of
місцеві,
Kyiv,
які живуть в Києві, я
in the
думаю, вони
exhibition
знають,
center.
це буде дуже
Residents of
масштабний
Kyiv know
фестиваль,
this location very
фестиваль
well.
кар'єри,
This is
де
going to be
долучаться
a big
абсолютно всі
career
освітні
festival.
організації,
All the educational
також
organizations
кар'єрні
and institutions
консультанти,
will
школи,
participate.
університети,
There will be career
роботодавці,
guidance
в тому
professionals,
числі ми будемо
schools,
представляти
universities,
свої
employers.
Європас і Єврогайденс
We will
в
also
Україні.
present
Тому
our
кому
centers
цікаво,
of
будь ласка,
Europass and
долучайтеся,
Euroguidance in
будемо
Ukraine.
раді всіх
If
бачити
you're
завтра.
interested, you are welcome tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Jana. I suppose that there will be many colleagues interested that are joining us today. So thank you for sharing this information. We have many comments in the chat with congratulations to you. that it's really an impressive work that you've done with, well, over, I think it's less than a year from what I see from the presentation. So really congratulations. We still have a few minutes if there are some comments or questions to our colleagues from Euroguidance Network.
While there's comments still coming in, I would like to stress that I think the good cooperation between the European Training Foundation and the Euroguidance Network is really key that we all achieve our common goals, namely to enhance career guidance systems in Europe, to learn from each other, and to tackle the most difficult challenges that we are facing now. I think at the moment we are also looking at how we can have sustainable future, sustainable careers, how technology can be used to the benefit of the individual, not replacing the guidance counselor, of course, yeah. Yes, and we look forward to continued cooperation, Florian and colleagues, and thanks a lot for for inviting us to this event.
Thank you very, very much. A really very important comment. Of course, we are always open for cooperation. Well, Florian has been underlying this, and well, we have an excellent cooperation with Euroguidance. And this is why we also wanted to link our interagency working group on youth guarantee in Ukraine with Euroguidance Network, with the center that has been established in Ukraine, because as Natalia stressed in her presentation, that there is a big need to develop skills for professionals. There is a lack of professionals of career guidance and counseling in Ukraine. So I believe that this cooperation and the wealth of opportunities that are within the Euroguidance Network would also support the work and also the implementation of the new concept of career guidance and counseling in Ukraine. So with this, I would like to thank you very much. I underline our commitment to further continue the discussion and sharing the experiences. If we have opportunity also to support further peer learning events, we are very happy to do that. This is also my personal commitment because we wanted to continue those exchanges and sharing practices and learning opportunities. As you could see, our interagency working group is actually growing beyond the interagency working group, depending on the subject. And this is why, well, we are very happy. And actually, our online tools are giving us opportunities to also reach a wider spectrum of colleagues and to share those different practices and different opportunities. I wanted to ask Natalia whether she would have some closing remarks, because before we end, because I do not see any other hands raised. Natalia, if you wish to share your closing remarks, please go ahead.
Так, я вам чесно скажу, я
I
неймовірно
will tell you frankly, I'm very happy to have this event, such as this webinar, training and experience exchange. A lot of thanks to the participants who paid attention to us, who have shared their experience of Italy, Euroguidance. So all the stakeholders are interested in getting practical knowledge to continue our work and to implement our future plan. I'm supporting your words. We are also very interested in future webinars so that we can develop the draft document which will work in Ukraine. Thanks to the participants from the area of education. Thank you for your time today. We hope this event was useful for you. If you have any additional questions, please let us know. We are always open for communication, and we will be happy to see you on our next events that ETF and the European Commission is organizing for Ukraine. A lot of thanks.
Thank you very much, Natalia. Indeed, now we have this reflection, what we could do next. I was even thinking now when we were discussing that maybe we could offer an opportunity to express interest by interagency working group members and beyond, of course, for continuing the discussion. Definitely career guidance and counseling will remain as a key topic. We heard is a key priority currently for Ukraine. So we will continue the discussion and we will open up for further opportunities for those online exchange that will definitely continue within our program. And with this, I would like to thank very, very much our speakers, Anna, of course, Natalia as well, Eva, Dorian, and Jana for sharing their experiences and practices and all the opportunities. Thank you very, very much for this. And please let me also
Grazie a
thank
voi.
technical
Thank you very
support
much.
and excellent interpreters. Really, thank you so much for your patience. I was listening, well, interpretation in different languages that has been really excellent. Thank you so much for all your hard work and supporting us also within these sharing sessions. Well, of course, our technicians that are helping us to set up those learning opportunities. Thank you so much again. And with this, I would close our webinar of today. And there will be more. This is the promise from the European Training Foundation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
and have a lovely afternoon.
I wanted to show you something. We have been working for 42 years. We have been working for many years with the EU. We are a part of AEDE, and I have this words of Jan Amos Komensky. So we have been working on this. I wish you all the best. This event was very useful, and we hope for the best, and glory to Ukraine.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Andrei, for those kind words and congratulations for your work. Thank you very much. All the best to all of you.